What up, Alphas? I'm here with my boy
What's going on, Dan in the Den?
and CryptoVic back here on another episode of Alpha Club. And on today's episode, we got a very special one, right? We have one based around one of the most important, if not the most important subject that I think comes in our personal life, and that is the self inner work, right? Self development and growth, right? What do you think about that, bro?
Yeah, it's an important one. Definitely super excited to get this episode going for you guys and girls.
Yeah, definitely unlocking our inner potential, right, and becoming our truest self, our greatest version of ourselves, right. And I think there's so many things and so many variables that go into effect of what you end up becoming in your life, right? From decisions to the habits that you have, to the things that you read, the things that we consume, how we dress, how we carry ourselves, our character, how we treat other people. It's so many things. It's almost like Legos being built, right? It's like you're building yourself and you're adding all these armors and tools to yourself as you go along through life, right?
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that. We wanted to kind of start this episode like we always do
Right.
with some scripture. Today we're going to talk about the parable of the mustard seed, and that's coming out of Matthew 13:31 through 32. It reads, "The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted it in his field. Though it's the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it's the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree." So we decided on this one today just because, I mean, small beginnings, they can turn into the most amazing things if you just give it time and stay consistent. The mustard seed, like it says, is one of the smallest seeds, and it grows into one of the biggest trees of the garden. So never be afraid to start small, and you just never know what God will bless you with in the end.
Definitely, and I think to get us started, first and foremost, I think the most important thing is your mental clarity and your mental health, right? Because we
Yeah.
live within our brain, we live within our body, within our soul. We're with ourselves 24 hours of the day, right? So I think one thing that gets overseen a lot of the times is the importance of always having great mental health, right? And how do you take care of yourself as far as your mental health?
Well, definitely, I stay in the Word. I read the Bible every day. I think that's my foundation. Like you were saying, the building blocks. That's definitely mine, and other reading. Reading other books, just staying sharp, practicing. That every single day you get better and better. And like Vic was saying, just everything you're consuming. We're all consumers in our own way. So it's like, what are you consuming? What are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you eating? What are you saying? So I think it's the books you read, the people you hang out with, the music you listen to. Of course, we're in the gym 5-6 days a week, so it's how are you exercising this temple that we've been blessed with, and it's a combination of a lot of those things. I think
Right.
that's what we're going to kind of get into today.
Right,
What do you
and
think?
yeah, definitely. I think it goes with like you said, your faith, and also being able to stay disciplined and
Yeah.
organized. I think in my world, in my life, that's what's helped me a lot more. Right? And
Big
trying,
time.
because I'm not the best with it, as I struggle with things just like everybody else does, right? But I think what's helped me get as far as I've gotten in my life has been also learning uh, when things happen, right? When we believe that maybe it's a failure, like people would like to say it, I like to see it more as a lesson, right? And what
Yeah.
can I learn from this? What can I learn from the situation? Before I used to maybe get upset when things would happen and be like, hey, man, why? Well, I'm doing things right. Like I'm trying to better myself, and it's like then. But when you shift that mindset, right, to understand that it's part of your journey and it's part of it helping you grow into that person that you're meant to be, I think it alleviates the pain of sometimes those painful lessons, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, so like no, there's no losses, right?
Right.
It's a win or a lesson.
Or a lesson.
And I think if you can kind of internalize that mindset, I think you're gonna have a jump on a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think to stick on the topic of the mental health, I think that, like you said, being around the right people, because it's kind of like we've had our own episodes, right? When we're feeling a little bit down, or doubting ourselves, or asking ourselves like, man, are we doing the right things, right? Is this the right way we should do things? And I think it's so important that when you're in that right mind frame, right, and state of mind, and you have people around you as well, it's just as easy to quit as it is to keep going, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's that switch of understanding when you're in a good mental state, it's easier for you to be able to be like, all right, this is just part of the journey. This is what we're gonna keep doing, and we must keep doing this to get to the next level, right? As opposed to, like we were saying the other day, when you're not around people that help you get through those tough times, it can be very easy for some people to just break when you're back against the wall, right?
Yeah, I feel like if you don't have that, that proper support system, I think that's crucial. Like, they could, maybe they're not taking life as serious as you are, and they could just be like, just kind of influence you in the wrong way, or, obviously that you rub off on them, they rub off on you. So if they quit at something, then it's a little bit more likely of a chance that you might quit at something and stuff. So I feel super grateful. This is my brother from another mother. We got each other's backs, and we're definitely, when one's down, the other's not, and vice versa. We're both human,
Right.
and it's awesome how we can definitely keep each other motivated and keep
accountable.
accountable. Yeah, just keep going.
Right, and then I think that there's other people around in our circle too that it's we have the relationship we have because we're with each other on a daily basis, but I think we impact a lot of the people that are around us as well. I think that we've put ourselves around good people, our family, right? Those acquaintances and few friends that we have right now, right? And I think when I say few is because we've been able to hand pick or select the people that we want around in our circle, right? We've been able to be, I guess you could call it a little bit selfish, because we need to understand, like you said, it's about who you surround yourself to. So you got to be very careful who you allow into your circle as well. The last thing you want is for somebody that's envious or jealous to come around you and break the whole foundation down, right?
Yeah, and then there's energy vampires out there.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you got to be careful for them too, and yeah, just being very selective on who you let in, because I guess time is our most valuable asset, right? So just be very careful and decisive on who you're gonna spend that time with, because you only have a limited amount.
And right now that we touched base on that, on the whole thing about like the circles and stuff, the other day I was scrolling through YouTube, and I saw so many videos from so many people who their title was just like, I have no friends and I'm 27 or I'm 30 years old and stuff. And I wanted to just touch a little bit on those kinds of people, right? I want you all to really understand that you're not alone, right? First and foremost, you got yourself, and you got your God or whoever you believe in. And I think I speak for both of us. I think that is the time where you find yourself. I believe that that's where you actually grow as a person, because when you don't have time to be alone and by yourself, when do you get to really know yourself? Would you agree with me?
Yeah, 100%. I could definitely, testify to that. Obviously, maybe, I'm in my early 30s now, so, maybe in my younger, 20s and stuff, I was, busy doing the fast life and partying and whatnot, and always hanging out with friends, like nonstop every single day. And yeah, I didn't really get much inner work done, and that's just because I was just keeping myself distracted, I guess. So I definitely agree with that. When you're alone, hopefully you take the route to grow and get better. Because some people are alone, and it's like detrimental to them.
Exactly.
But to those ones who are alone and maybe don't have the motivation to do the self work, then maybe open the Bible, read, get in touch with your Creator, and
yourself.
And develop a relationship with Him, and He'll show you the way.
Yeah, definitely. And so it was just interesting to see how a lot of people are going through those times of growth, and seeing how they're expressing themselves. But that's the start to your next level, right? And I think that we're understanding that when you work on yourself, the rest of the pieces around you start to align, right? A lot of times we get caught up on even like just finances, relationships, wanting to be like, damn, like I want a family already. I'm getting older, this and right. And I think when you finally let go, because it's like we were saying, it's like when you're trying to grasp things and just like I want it, it runs away from you. It doesn't come to you, right? As opposed to when you relax and you kind of just like we said, when you do that inner self work,
Yeah.
and it's just day to day, just going and going. I think you attract things, right?
Yeah, they
Instead
kind of
of
just
pushing them away.
come. They kind of just come to you. You know, what's for you will find you. And you know, I think another thing on the self work, while we're talking about that, is healing from your past traumas. You know, a lot of people have baggage that they maybe not want to. They don't want to, you know, let go. And I feel like it's super hard for you to, you know, for you to go up while you're still hanging on to that heavy baggage. So whether it's traumas or from experiences or whatever it may be, you know, heal from those. Forgive other people maybe that have wronged you in the past, because life's too short, and so I just feel like that's super important too on that journey.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people try to sometimes play the like the macho role, or like I'm okay at all times, and because I know I've played that role sometimes too, you know. And it's okay to understand, to be vulnerable, and there is people there to hear you out, especially the people that are around you, you know. And it's always good to self-reflect, but you also need to give yourself credit, you know, for how far you come, because I think I speak for all the hustlers, all the entrepreneurs, all the go-getters, that the path can get hard, and there's a lot of times where you can have that like, well, is this all worth it? Like, you know, it
that
should
questioning.
right? That questioning, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where you gotta dig deep, where you actually gotta ask yourself like, what legacy am I really gonna leave behind? Like, who am I gonna be remembered as, or am I just gonna break right here when it gets hard? Like, if you really talk about it and are about it, like, are you gonna be about it, right?
Yeah, definitely. And when, you know, talking about being about it, another thing that I feel like we've talked about before is visualizing. You know, visualizing.
Definitely.
Yeah, visualizing where you want to be. You know, the feeling of it. You know, we were watching a video the other day on, like, you know, what does it smell like when you're at that goal, like, you know, what music are you playing. Like all those details are important because your subconscious doesn't know whether it's real or not. So, you know, if you trick it into, you know, believing it's real, and then you're kind of, you know, bringing up those emotions that tie with it, it ends up coming to you kind of like a magnet.
Right, right. And like we said, the inner work has so many compounds to it, right?
Yeah.
It's just, this is just the surface level, right? There's
Yeah.
so many things that go into
We
it.
could go on all day
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
and the beauty of it is that as you start to go through that rabbit hole, right? Through that hole, and you start to just you find yourself more and more and more, and you find yourself relating and finding things that are relevant to you. You find yourself. It's literally what it says. It's the work of finding yourself, of bettering yourself, of becoming better, right?
Yep. And then, like we were saying when we opened up our episode, you know, it starts small, like the mustard seed. You know, small stack wins. Even if they're small wins every single day, eventually they're gonna, you know, be huge. Just like the domino effect. You know what I mean? Like one little tiny domino just starts a whole little thing, and before you know it, like the dominoes can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, that's why it's so important to do that.
Yeah, and I was just pulling up that video that you were talking about right now, because I wanted to actually show them a couple of the.
Oh yeah, that video is so
pull it up
good.
right now, right? But
And
like
his
they
name, and his name is what? So we can
Dan
give him
Martell.
credit. Yeah, Dan
Dan
Martell. Yeah,
Martell.
we subscribe to him. He's got some awesome content.
While we get this uploaded a little bit. So yeah, the fact of just doing that inner work, right? And it's a never ending game. It's a never ending process. It's
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
you get better each and every day, right?
Yeah, it's a journey. You know what I mean? There's no finish line. So, you know, if you're doing it the right way, you're never gonna be like, ah, okay, I made it. I'm good. I don't ever have to grow no more. You know, it's always every single day. You know, it's growing. Every year, you know, you should, you know, if you accomplish your goal, like what's, you know, always be like, what's next? Don't ever get stagnant, because you know what I mean. That's even water when it's sitting still. It'll mold, you know. It gets smelly and stinky. So like and if you think about it, we're made of like 70% water.
So there you go.
So there you go. So like we always need to be, you know, fluid and keep moving. And what's the next goal? So.
And I think that word that we used earlier about unlocking your true potential, I think as you start moving forward in your self-discovery, your self-development, I think you begin to, it's like keys. You start unlocking different locks, and it's like you unlock something. Because, and we say all the time, it's like you only know what you know, right? So like the person that we're talking about finances right now, imagine the person in the other room can be making $100,000 on a computer, and I don't know because I don't know, and it might seem like something crazy to me, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with just inner work and self-discovery. You really don't know until you find out for yourself, right? Until you do that self-work, you're not gonna know what you like, what you don't like, and
Yeah.
you're all. I think that's see now that we're going around it, I think that's why a lot of people don't end up. Sometimes that like that quote says, most men live lives of quiet desperation,
Yeah.
and I think it all comes back to the fact of not doing that self inner work and self
Yeah.
discovery. What do
No,
you
I
think?
think so. And then maybe they get later on in life, they don't ever do that work, and then it just kind of gets too late. I mean, I don't want to ever say it's like, too late, because you can be 80 years old and start doing this stuff,
Right.
but then you missed all out on all those years. And yeah, so I feel like that definitely has a correlation for sure. So it's never too late to start,
Yeah, no,
you know.
definitely. It's better late than never, but
Yeah,
never late is
exactly.
better. But and along with the inner work, you have to understand that there's going to be sacrifices to being able to find your inner work as well. I
Yeah.
believe. But before we move on over to that, let's play a little clip of Dan Martin, which you were talking about the visualization.
Yep.
You're looking at your bank account through. It's that level of specificity
Rewind
of
it a little
reality.
bit.
So I really want you to be in that space.
Yeah,
Play
this is
some
it.
music
Yeah.
in the background. What music would be playing when you're checking your bank account? What would the level of detail look like? Can you tell me what phone you're looking at your bank account through? It's that level of specificity of reality that you need to be able to visualize to get into the energetic space for you to actually create that belief of it happening. So you'll never achieve a future that you can't first see in the mind. When I learned to skateboard, I saw the kickflip 10,000.
Yeah.
So there you go, the importance of visualizing, right?
Big time.
And how being able to use your radiation, your frequency, your vibration, and then obviously your faith plays the biggest role in everything, right? But
Yeah.
like putting yourself in that mental state of visualizing, like you said, smelling it,
Yeah.
understanding what it would feel like to be in that moment, right? Positioning yourself there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's so funny because I never understood when I was a kid. I grew up playing football, and my dad would always tell me before games to, we were riding. He was driving me to my football game, and he would just tell me like, "All right, visualize what you're gonna do. Like, how are you gonna block? What are you gonna do this? And what are you gonna do?" And I would just thought it was kind of crazy at the time, and I would try to visualize it, but it wouldn't get far. But now it makes a lot of sense. And then I love golf as well. And Tiger Woods, he was talking about how much, I'm sure all golfers do, really, it's super important, but how much you have to visualize your shot, before. That's why it's so slow played, and that's why the professionals, they don't take golf carts to each hole, because that's too fast.
Yeah.
So they walk the course, and see, when you walk the course, you slow down the pace of the play. And as you're walking to your shot, which is, a couple minutes, a minute or two, at least, you have that time to visualize how you're going to hit your next shot. And that's what they do. And that's why, they're so good.
So we kind of discussed a little bit of why visualization and inner self work is so important, right?
Yeah.
And now let's talk a little bit about like actual actions, I guess, routines, habits that lead you to become that better person. I think one of those habits and one of those must do that a lot of people bypass, or they don't take it as seriously is their health in the gym. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can't, if you don't have your health, then you're not doing anything, So,
Right.
I agree.
We our motto at Healthy Shack is your health is your wealth, right?
Yeah.
And so why do you think the gym is so important?
There's a lot of reasons, man. Honestly, it keeps you healthy, makes you feel good. You get confidence. You build discipline. I think that's probably the most important thing. Is when you go, it takes a special type of person to go to the gym and destroy themselves. Get that great workout in. And even if you don't want to do it,
Right.
and then you go and do it again the next day,
Right.
so that builds like character and discipline, and you learn consistency. And I think that applies if you apply that to other aspects in your life, then I feel like you're
You got it,
unstoppable.
man. Yeah, no, I think you were hit it right on the money, and just the fact of just even showing up. So for those people that are like, well, I can barely even get up early in the morning,
Yeah.
right? So I think if we just take it one step at a time and just
Yeah.
being like, hey, just show up to the gym,
Yeah.
just do 100 crunches at home. Just start
Yeah.
with 50 push-ups,
Yeah.
go for a
Small.
morning walk. Small wins, and I
Small
think that's what we were
wins.
talking about the other day. And I mean, it says it with the Bible verse that you started
Yeah,
today. It's
like
just
the mustard seed,
it's
tiny.
small wins, one at a time, and understanding that
Yep.
compounding, just like in finances, the compounding interest is really what's gonna outlast and outweigh the rest of it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Even if you go, if you're just getting started, just go for a walk after you eat. Go for a walk. Start with a walk, then eventually maybe jog a little bit. Then you start running, and then it's like half a mile, and then before you know it, you're running like 3 miles, and then you start feeling great and good about yourself, and then you kind of just want to keep doing it, and then eventually it becomes a habit, and then yeah, it's like then it's just easier and easier.
And then you begin to grow that accountability and that discipline with yourself. And I think the biggest and the most important outlying factor in growth, as well as having the confidence and the belief in yourself
Yeah.
to know that you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do. Because at the end of the day, you can, like they say, you can bullshit everybody around you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're only lying to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're pretending to put on this facade and say you're this way and you do it right. At the end of the day, it's like, bro, you're only lying to yourself, right? Like it's you versus you, right? It's accountability with yourself, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And
Holding yourself accountable.
Yeah,
taking that off.
and everybody's journey is different, right? So that's another thing that I think there's so many topics to talk about. It's just also the people get lost in the fact of trying to compare themselves to other people and what they got going on and stuff, and it all comes back to the fact that it's a you versus you type of journey,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, it's just how can you get better from yesterday? Like 1% better. Even if it's a 0.5% better than yesterday, it's still a win. Just trying to just compete with yourself and get better each and every day. I think and if you just keep your head down, in 6 months, a year, like you'll be unrecognizable.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times before we started entrepreneurship 4 or 5 years, well, we've been entrepreneurs for a lot longer, I think both of us, but when we
Yeah.
started really taking it a lot seriously about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and just understanding how this isn't a race to finish anywhere fast. It's a marathon. It's an endurance. It's let's see
Yeah.
who can stay on the playing field for as long as possible,
Yeah.
right? And I think accountability, discipline, and habits are really what is the game changer in a lot of entrepreneurs. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. There's a quote that says, the gap between the life you're living and the life you want is called mindset, focus, and consistency.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
so just take that to heart. I mean, those three things are so powerful. If you have the right mindset, if you're disciplined, if you have that focus, and that consistency, it's like that laser beam focus. Like think of the magnifying glass. Did you ever used to play with the magnifying glass in the sun?
Yeah.
If you get the sun into a little tiny beam of light, it starts a fire. So it's like, that where your attention goes, your focus flows, and so I think that's crucial. Like, and science backs it up.
Yeah, and I think once you start doing that, and then you also add a little bit of oomph to your life, and you really tell yourself, no one's coming to save you, bro. This is a you versus you. You got to do that inner work, right? It's kind of like they say when you're on your deathbed and you got to go pay the price and you got to go talk to God and tell him, like, did you do your best that you could while you were here?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody coming to hold your hand to walk you
No.
up there with him. Ain't
Just
nobody
you.
gonna be on that bed with you when you're like, man, like, so you gotta understand that you gotta make the sacrifices now.
Yeah.
The time is now. You gotta sacrifice what you want now for what you want most later
Yeah.
on, right?
I mean, and it sounds corny, like, but it's the truth. No one's promised tomorrow. Like,
No.
I mean, almost you can live life by a moment to moment basis, really, because no one's promised the next 10-20 minutes. You just never know, like God forbid anything happens, but we drive a lot, like accidents could happen, anything. So I feel like it's just living as much as you can in the present, and enjoying the people you love and your relationships. I think and then obviously, like you were saying, the one with yourself. And I feel like that's all you can do, really,
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you touched base on that too as well, because we were saying earlier how it's great to want to better yourself every day, because that's how you feel a sense of accomplishment when you're
Yeah.
fulfilling your purpose, right? But never to underestimate how much more powerful it is to actually do things with people you love, and cherish memories and moments and journeys, and live, like you said, in the moment now, because we're not promised tomorrow, right? We're simply trying to find fulfillment in living out the journey as best as we possibly can,
Yeah.
but never forgetting that we only really have right now.
Yeah,
In this
exactly.
moment, like you said, we can walk out right now and
Yeah.
thunder strikes,
Yeah.
and that's it. God
Yeah.
calls us home.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And so with that goes to always make sure you're right with your God. You make sure, because you never know when you're gonna take that last breath, and understand that just fulfill your purpose, be happy, right? Chase your dreams, pursue your goals, your aspirations. But understand that this life is short, so also learn to enjoy it, that yin yang, that balance, right? What do you think about
Yeah,
that?
enjoy the ride, It's a beautiful thing, a lot of ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster, but people go on roller coasters to have fun, right? So
Yeah, definitely.
so just enjoy it.
So how do you think, in a whole realm, kind of, if you were to sum it up, how can, if somebody was watching you right now and you had to give some advice, how would you tell them to live? How could you live a well-rounded life, a well-rounded, healthy life, I guess you could say? What could be like some steps you could take to live that kind of lifestyle?
I mean, if we could just sum it up, I would just say faith in your creator and who you want to be, like just that belief in yourself, and then, like we were just saying, like discipline and consistency. Your mindset, discipline and consistency, and faith. I feel like if you can work on all those, I feel like you'll be unstoppable.
Yeah, so to
What about you?
I mean, yeah, like you said, faith is obviously the most important, and then the habits that you take on it, and you incur every day, right? How you react and how you shape your reality, right?
Yeah.
Because how you think and how you perceive things goes so far sometimes. Like we were talking about the other day about the road rage incidents, how sometimes make a funny joke out of, like, oh, that guy probably just has to go take a mad shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
or like,
Like if somebody cuts you off.
yeah, or like, oh,
yeah.
that guy's super pissed off, right?
Yeah,
Like he's
you
had
know.
like, wish him well, but
Yeah.
so it's those mind shit. I mean, we're talking about that because that's just something funny, right? But or like understanding, like, when something happens to you, shaking it off and being like, what did I learn from it, instead of being upset about what happened, right? So the habits, the way you perceive things, the way
Yeah.
you act things, also how you carry yourself as an individual, right? The inner work that you do on yourself, whether that be with some meditation, reading the Bible, praying, inner self peace work, right? So like we said, there's a lot of variables to live a well-rounded, healthy life, and then the most important is what we consume as well. It's like the food that we're putting in our mouths, the gym. So I think on the next video that we should do, maybe we should do so in crypto, you know how they say they have the top 10 coins? We can maybe list a whole, like, top 10 or top 20 ways of how people can live a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, we can do that, like different exercises and techniques, maybe,
and gym, food,
foods.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
I think that would be a good idea.
So maybe we do like a little a web diagram for them of the ways they can live a healthier lifestyle, and then we can go in depth how to, like
a 30 days to a better you or something
there
like
you go.
that.
So we'll do something like that for you
Yeah,
guys on the next
that would
one. So we understand there's a lot of variables that go into play when we're talking about becoming a better you and a healthier you, and a better version of yourself, right? One of those things that we think is very important in self-development is gonna be reading.
Oh,
Reading
big
books.
time.
What do you
Yeah.
think about that?
Yeah, just learning new things through the authors that you read, and the books that you read from them, and I think that's crucial. I mean, I've learned so much stuff from some of the books that I've read. These are some books here on the back. that are some awesome. We have them categorized. I think I personally read at least 4 or 5 of those that I can attest to are phenomenal books.
Definitely.
What about you?
No, definitely. I'm looking at them here. The 48 Laws of Power, The Alchemist, The 7 Habits of the Highly Effective People. Think and Grow Rich is
That's a
almost
classic.
like the classic, the just like the Rich Dad Poor Dad, right?
Yep.
The Power of Now, breaking the bad habits and being yourself. Atomic Habits, the subtle art of not giving a fuck. Unlimited Power, and win friends and influence people, right? So
How to win friends and influence people. That's
Yeah.
big time.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
a good one.
So I think these are all very good starter books.
Yeah.
I guess these are all like must reads. I think we could say, right?
Definitely. There's a couple that I would like to add. As a Man Thinketh.
That's a great one.
Oh yeah, it's like
Small
a
little
tiny little green book, but I mean it is so powerful.
Yeah.
I mean it's like just wisdom bombs. Like I highlighted like the whole book.
Yeah, definitely.
And then
And
another
so-
good one is Rules for a Night, and that's by Ethan Hawke. He's actually an actor, and that's a great book. It's just kind of how to live, like how a knight should live, but you can apply that, basically to our daily lives.
Nice.
Phenomenal book as well.
Nice. So like we said, the books, you're gonna find things that you probably never thought you would come to find out. Remember, you only know what you know. So you want to open up your realm to everything that exists out there, right? And the mind frame. So what I feel like sometimes is these authors have put this information on books, and we're basically taking the frequency that they were in and we're extracting it from the book and we're making it ours. So we're giving energy. That's why a lot of times when I've read books, and I know it happens to a lot of people, it's like you get that aha moment. You're like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Like, how did I not think of something like this before,
It's like you were saying earlier with the keys, just it unlocks like a new
It's
door.
unlocking your fullest potential, and that's what that's why we named this episode Unlocking Your Fullest Potential today, right? It's the fact of how we just don't know what we can learn, right? So when we, even like today, how we were talking about, it's like even with when you're networking, the ability to put yourself out there and to the opportunities, right?
Yeah.
When you're closed up, I mean, nobody knows about you, nobody hears about you, and it's like greatness waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, it's like having a great product as a business and doing no marketing, just having it sit in your house, and it's like the best thing ever, but nobody knows about it.
Exactly.
So it can't do anything.
Exactly. And same thing with networking. That goes included into living a great life, because sometimes it's not about how much you have or what you know. It's about who you know, right? That gets you into those rooms. So that goes with the books. It's like it's sometimes it's what you know. It's if you can have an intellectual talk with somebody of power, or with somebody of importance, of somebody who can open doors for you as well. I mean, it's night and day being able to have a conversation with somebody and not bore them.
Yeah, no, big time. And these, you kind of get like a little glance into these authors' brains, and you get to like kind of interview them without having to actually be with them.
Right.
And some of them have passed, God rest their souls. But you get to like sit down and have a chat with them, and like you were saying, like pick out all that stuff that and you can apply that to your life. And that's another thing is, don't just read the book, like take notes on it, like, and then how are you going to apply it to your life? Because if you just read, and just gain all this knowledge but don't have any action behind the knowledge, then it's pointless.
It's pointless.
You might as well not even have read the book.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like how can you apply it to your life?
A dream without action is just a dream, right? Or just like a thought without action, it's just a mere thought as well, like they said. So we understand that when it comes to yourself, your inner self and your outward self, there's a lot of components that come into play, right? But not only that, finances also helps have a lot of those options, right?
Yeah, the freedom to take care of your family, go where you want with who you want. And like you were saying, it's not everything, but obviously it gives you a lot of options.
And I think one of the big events that we've been all waiting for, right? And I keep saying it over and over in our videos, the reason we're using the crypto market right now is because it's what's hot, right? It's not the only vehicle, it's one of the vehicles that we're using. And one of those events that a lot of people are anxious for is Bitcoin halving, right?
Yeah, been waiting a long time.
So we got 22 hours and 23 minutes left. So by the time you wake up, probably tomorrow or tomorrow afternoon, actually, this will say 0, and we will have passed that event. But a lot of people have it mistaken in thinking that tomorrow some type of parabolic movement's gonna happen, right?
No.
It's simply just gonna cut that mining in half, and we're gonna have a prolonged period where the supply shock is gonna happen. However, it's gonna take some time to catch up, and I
Yeah.
think that's where people are mistaken that.
Yeah, for sure. It usually takes like what, 6 to 8 months before the parabolic part starts happening. If anything, we could probably see a dip. Like, then this is just my opinion, and this is not financial advice, but I personally think like it's gonna dip or go sideways for a little while, and then in about maybe 4 or 5 months, then we're gonna start ticking up, and I feel like it's gonna start that parabolic run. But yeah, we could go easily all the end of this year into January, February, March. That's what I kind of think.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you?
No, definitely, I'm right there with you, and I think this is like we said earlier. This is a great time to buy.
Oh yeah.
This is not financial advice. This is just we believe the last best buying opportunity.
Pretty much.
And I think whenever we have any extra income or cash to dispose, I think we're gonna be doing the same thing. We're gonna
Yeah.
be making sure we're still dollar cost averaging whenever we can, adding to those final positions. And this is simply because, I mean, we lived our first cycle. We got wrecked where we didn't have tons of money in the market yet, but we got wrecked pretty good, right?
Yeah.
It's not like now where we have some good investments in there. But we've been able to learn so much, right? And just being able to understand that we can capitalize on a life-changing opportunity
Yeah.
and be able to set ourselves apart, right? Because I feel like we've sacrificed a lot, we've come a long way, and we've surrounded ourselves with the right people, the right mentors, even if it's just YouTube people we watch or people that we come across, right? And it's all part of a better us, right? A better a tool to help us escape that matrix. And I think that it's a wonderful tool for a lot of people to use if they learn to use it.
Yeah, and don't go into something blindly, and that you haven't done any research on, because that's how you're gonna get wrecked. But yeah, it's definitely one of the most volatile investing methods that there is, but obviously without any risk. Even no risk, there's no reward. So
Yeah, and I think it's a very new market, and people also don't know really how to handle it or how to navigate it. So I'm not saying it's for everyone either.
yeah,
Right? So it's just simply another vehicle, another way to escape, right? And be able to maybe achieve some of those goals, some of those dreams, pay off some debt, be able to go on a vacation with your family.
retire your
Maybe
parents.
retire. Yeah. So, because everybody has different amounts of money to invest into the market as well, right? And different experience. Because I've heard, I've seen, and we know of people that have turned small amounts into 6 figures,
Yeah,
7 figures. So it's not something that can't be done. It can definitely be done. It's just having that information to execute,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
And we wanted to let you all know that the current price right now is $60,000. We do believe it could go as low as $50,000. I think we both
Yeah.
agree on that. But on the big spectrum, and when we zoom out, we understand that Bitcoin is still very bullish, in my opinion. I think the cycle
big
is still
time.
going on. I think that we just had a misinterpretation because things started to move really fast.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, look at all those green candles right there. And we're on the monthly.
Yeah. 7
Yeah, so
green
that's like
candles.
7 months in a row, just boom, 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 and then people just thought it was gonna just keep going,
Forever.
and it's got to correct, it's got to take a breather. So I think this is healthy, and like we said, it might go sideways or down for a little bit
Right.
longer, but within 6 months to a year, it's gonna be crazy, like double. I think it's gonna be double.
Definitely. And because the Bitcoin halving is here now, right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna see that movement. I think, like you said, you hit it right on the money. Is 7 months of unbelievable parabolic action. It's like, I mean, a baby could see this from a mile away coming, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you just cannot continue to. I would be worried if we got an 8th green candle and then a 9th.
I
And
know.
then
Well, there
it's-
hasn't really been
it's
one,
never,
right? Yeah.
never. So it's good to see this. It's good to understand that the next 6 to 12 months could really change your life.
Yeah.
And we're gonna create a Patreon here soon, a Discord. So we'll probably leave it open for free at the beginning. I don't know what you
Yeah.
think about. That way we can start getting some people in here, and then we're gonna talk about a lot of things like what we're talking about on Alpha Club right now, right? I think a lot of faith-based stuff,
Yeah.
gym,
Gym,
meal prepping,
health, meal prepping,
motivation,
financing, how to make
financing.
money online, real
There
estate,
you go.
I mean, you name it.
Merch,
Yep.
e-com,
Start apparel company.
so all those great things. So we're working on that as well. We have things coming for you all. It's a community for us to grow and build together. What
Yeah,
do
and
think about that?
if you alphas have any ideas for us or want to see anything, leave us some comments. We read those and we're more than happy to to go over that and
Definitely.
and definitely provide some value or the value that we believe we can for you.
Of course, and I think moving forward, as far as crypto, like we said, we see a bullish outlook. I think the only thing that could possibly affect this is if we see some type of conflict build up as far as
Yeah.
World War III, that Black Swan event. What do you think?
Oh yeah, unfortunately, if a war breaks out, then the markets are they're gonna crash,
Yeah.
and then I feel like, a lot of people, depending on how bad it gets, if it gets there, God forbid, but like then I feel like this is the least of our worries,
Yeah.
if it goes down like that.
At
So
that point, it's just like just wait, hold your bags, and see what happens.
and it brings us to an important part, don't invest what you can't lose.
Yeah, or don't over leverage
Yeah,
yourself.
don't over leverage yourself. We've done it before, and so like this is a perfect example. Like if you throw your life savings into crypto, and then World War III breaks out and it completely tanks, like you're out of luck.
You're out of luck, yeah, definitely. So these are very important things to keep in mind. And moving forward as well, we're gonna also, how could you say it? We'll adjust our investing strategies. I think I speak for both of us. As money starts coming in from our positions in crypto and we start taking profits, that's another thing. We will be letting you know on this channel when we're gonna start taking profits off the table, so
Yes.
you all can take profits with us. And then we'll be able to put it into a new vehicle together, all of
Yeah.
us, whether it be real estate, whether it be e-com,
Yeah.
because he has a brand, he works on the shirts for all of us here. He's got his Triple G, we got some Alpha clothing coming up. So whether it be an investment vehicle as far as e-com and t-shirt brand building or real estate
Yeah.
or what else?
Stocks or like our Roth IRAs,
Correct.
all that type of stuff.
Anything we
Getting
can do.
some type of interest on your money.
And even mentorships as well. Mentorships are so
Yeah.
important because we don't know everything. So
Exactly.
we want to lead you to the right mentors as well. If it's in a certain field or in a certain topic that we might not be experts in, then we can also direct you to maybe who we believe can help you the best way possible, right? And at the end of the day, I mean, we're gonna also be bringing people on here that know and are experienced in these fields as well.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that's
right
gonna
now
be exciting.
we're in the growing stages, and I think I can't stress it enough. We love doing this for you all. We just want you all to bear a little bit with us because we do run a healthy food truck here in Texas.
Yep.
And this that's our first baby. That's our legacy, right? So this comes secondary. However, that being said, we enjoy doing this, and I speak for both of us, and we love to see the growth. I know right now we're only delivering one episode right now a week.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start.
grow.
Yeah, we're gonna grow, and we're gonna get in the habit of bringing more. We're gonna see how we can arrange around those things. Our lives are growing as well. Our careers are moving forward. I can speak for both of us, and there's things in the works, and we just want to thank you for allowing us and giving us this opportunity to share our journey, to share our thoughts, to share our emotions, what we think, things that we research. Right? What do you think? You want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's well said, and just we're just grateful that we can be on this journey with you alphas, and we're open to any comments, and just let us know how we can get better, because remember, this is a community, and we love hearing from y'all. So I think that.
Yeah, it's exciting. I think like we said today, we're gonna maybe wrap it up on that note. Like we said, we probably are gonna have maybe a part 2 or just a little more in depth on this topic. Like we said, we're just growing right now. We're growing through those initial journey stages. We're doing it together, right? With the few followers that we have, with just what we got going on right now. But we want you all to know that we appreciate each and every one of you. And like Dan in the Den said, leave your comments, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I think today we're gonna wrap it up with that, right?
I think that's it.
And I think every show or every episode we ended on that one note, right? And remember,
iron sharpens iron.
Thank you guys. This is
Dan in the Den.
CryptoVic signing out.
Later, alphas.
Peace.